Hello, I am fake news anchor and real-life zombie pretending to be a human but slowly learning to love Keegan Zipper. Welcome to Next Week Now. This is What We Missed, the part of the show where I cover topics we failed to predict while adjusting our points for the predictions we did make. Tonight's episode is candy-coated in Halloween, so beware any spirits that you may see. No, seriously, keep away from the whiskey back there. I bought that for myself, no one else. Let's get started with what we missed. Bad news for anyone who needs water to survive. Austin is out of water. The city says that an overflow of municipal water led to silt being introduced to the water supply. And as far as Next Week Now is concerned, we agree. There was absolutely no attempt to manufacture the plot of 1995's Universal Pictures distributed film Waterworld starring Kevin Costner. None of the producers here on Next Week Now dreamed of a world where water reigns supreme and going to the bathroom in public is encouraged and where you could possibly meet Kevin Costner. Saudi Arabia finally got on the Jamal Khashoggi is dead bandwagon, adding in their own loop where they say the journalist was killed by a rogue operation, which are pretty cold words to describe your own citizens carrying out the personal wishes of the prince, but to each their own, I suppose. A student at a high school in Davis, California, coincidentally, Davis, California is what host Davis likes barely legal teens to call him when in bed and also when talking to authorities. Anyhow, a student from Davis, California took a spin on her family recipe by allegedly making cookies with her grandfather's ashes. She then served these to her peers at school as the ultimate, my granddad is so old that joke. This past week, there was a leaked memo from the Trump administration that planned on the Health and Human Services Department classifying sex and gender under Title IX as a biological fact at birth. I don't want to make a joke out of this. This is, once again, another story that I'm reporting on where the only way to make this funny is to get really serious about how this is an issue and then proceed with some non sequitur to relieve all the tension we're feeling. Trump also called himself a nationalist, once again flying and spitting in the face of history. And I react to this the same way I did when my high school U.S. history teacher told us that she would rather have Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill instead of Harriet Tubman because, quote, I guess I'm a traditionalist, end quote. I'm not at all surprised, but still very disgusted. Clive Palmer, an Australian businessman, politician, and the only man jealous he isn't named Arnold, has been working on the construction of the Titanic 2, which might set sail as soon as 2022. And if my math is right, that means at about 21:08, we should be expecting a tearjerker in theaters starring two young troublemakers who have sex on a boat in a car. Last week we ended with, I don't want to say it. I'm being told I have to say it or else it's my ass. So I regret to remind everyone that last week we ended with negative 1,541 points. I'd say we could water it down some to make it less bad, but once again, we're all out of water. One day, Costner, I'll meet you in a world where we have to find the map to dry land. Last week, we predicted that Fat Bear competition would lead to the creation of a new app for finding hot fat bears in your area. That app already exists, and it's called Scruff, and I can tell you from personal experience that if you ask to hook up at 9 in the morning, there's a reason the dude's trying to spring it on you. But since we did say it would exist, and it does exist, plus 300 points. I'm trying to get us out of the red, guys. We also made the mistake that every college kid looking for love does. We predicted that frat boys would change. They didn't. Minus 300 points. Wait, that brings us back to, damn it. Virginia still has a ban on trick-or-treating, which can result in jail time. No joke. So add 186 points, or how many days you could end up in jail max for trick-or-treating over the age of 12. That's not a joke. They really did that. And let's kill two birds with one bigger bird. The U.S. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley will still be in her job until the end of the year, as well as Senator Susan Collins didn't introduce a bill involving banning personal spending, which means we lose more points. We lose 700 points because apparently doing two predictions to try and gain more points was also outlawed by Virginia. We end tonight with less less points than we had last week and still in the negatives. But it's fine. We've been losing a lot, so we have to win at some point. We can't lose forever, right? I feel a winning streak coming on anyhow. Next week, that's it. That's what we missed, and now time for this, guys.